With those characters and the point of view, again, back on Two Serpents Rise, I was wondering with Teo, because Teo feels like a very main character, but has no point of view really. And I guess, was that something that basically it just didn't work from a logistical standpoint? Was it that Teo didn't kind of want to be a point of view character? How did that kind of come about in the writing?
So I try to give everybody in the book's main character energy, sort of to a fault. Everybody does sort of feel like the main character of their own story to themselves. I think it's easy to jump from that to everybody thinks they're the good guy, which I'm not sure is true. But
I think a lot of your characters are aware of their grayness, shall we say,
yes.
which I think is what makes them so fun.
Yeah, that's the hope. That's the hope. And with Teo, she has her story that she's working through and her own set of sort of romantic difficulties and like career problems and agency and her journey that she's on. And to my mind, one of the points of Two Serpents is that Caleb is like so stuck inside his own like head, point of view, series of personal obsessions and traumas and everything, that it's really hard for him to kind of see a larger picture. He needs to get out of it, but he's like so locked in that it's like he's got his blinkers on almost, or blinders on. And so over here you have, Teo, who's like got her girlfriend and got her issues with her family and has her career that she's trying to work through and her own relationships with money and her like sports betting problem. And she's just got a life that she's living, and she's friends with this guy who's really like got it in his head. His like sort of main characterness is like really locking him off from almost everything that's going on in the universe. And it's part of the reason that he doesn't, I think, suss out what's going on with Mal until it's entirely too late, or like there's an emotional component of their connection that works, but like the logic isn't quite there because he's like, his view of the universe is so centered around him. There's a kind of selfishness of pain thing that's going on. Like pain or sort of personal difficulties can be an occasion for like reaching out and connecting with other people, but they can also make you go deep into the tank. And that's where Caleb spends a lot of that book, which is like a challenge compared to. And so for me, one of the roles that Teo is playing in the book is another person who is just living her life and telling her story and doing her bit to like, at the very least, keep her own situation together and
not revolve around him. Like, it's clear that there's a world going on. It's not kind of a thing where he is the main character in terms of he's the POV character of the book, but he's not the main character of the world or even the city.
Right, that's exactly it. And that it's one of the fun things about a series, and especially the kind of constellated structure that I was working on with the first 6 books in the sequence, that Caleb does have a certain kind of main character-ness in this one setting, in this one context. And he's also a supporting character in a whole bunch of other people's stories.
I love when he shows up in Four Roads Cross. It's funny because I have to say, especially on reread, I do slightly want to slap Caleb when I reread Two Serpents Rise. But by the time I get to Four Roads Cross, I'm like, oh, I want more from him now. I want to see where he's at now that he's built this company, that he's away from too much of that. I want to get into his head now. Very, very small part, obviously, in Four Roads Cross, but it makes me want more. So
that's good. That's good. Well, you may get what you want. Who knows?
Well, that's exciting. Yeah, I didn't want to ask too much about future things and make you have to just say, nah, I can't say anything. But what you said earlier about it, kind of the aperture expanding, is also very exciting. So
yes, we're going to see a lot more of the world and a lot more sort of old familiar faces in book 2.
That sounds great. That sounds great. I'm jumping around.
It's great to like revisit people I've reached in these books to sort of in publication order. It's like each book is posing, at least for each character, like the end of one book, the sort of resolution or synthesis or wherever they manage to land, which I try to always make something that's like a little bit breaking out of whatever cycle they're in at the particular moment. But I'm trying also to kind of trouble the notion that you break out of one maybe unhealthy cycle and that's it. You're done. You've like won therapy. Congratulations. No more narrative for you. But no, like you can, the same systems of gravity, the same sort of gravitational influences apply to you post having a revelation or having a big transformative moment. You're just now stuck in a sort of different orbit. Might be a freer orbit. It might be more pro-social. It might give you more freedom and joy and ability to bring joy to others and do good work in the world. But there's, you're not done learning. Zen Master's got to whap you upside the head one more time, I guess.